lights, they be flashing already in
They'd be
Studio
flashing.
B.
We're still what Studio A? We don't have a Studio B. Maybe we should have a Studio B. I don't know. Let's see who's here. Anyway. Oh my goodness gracious me! There's a ton of peeps here. Let's see where we're at. Oh, come here. Right. I have to get up to the top here. Where are we?
Wendy, Gilda, Logan, Susan, Yoff, Savannah, Peggy, Taylor, Sean, Jessica. A Yoff starting us off.
With a super chat.
And
Yoff.
Cass.
And Cass.
Yay.
All right, so peeps, as you know, we have got a goal going on. A goal, tell your friends. I could say that like some kind of crazy Italian, sports commentator. Goal! And keep going for about half an hour, but I won't.
Oh, you mean like football over there?
Yeah. So yeah, we're supposed to. We could do that every time somebody gives us a super chat. We could just yell goal
Shauna.
forever, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Okay. But not. So yes, tonight we will do you another thrilling instalment from Dun Dun Dun.
The Sea Priestess.
It's actually quite a riveting read. I'm quite getting into it, to be honest.
I think it's just getting started now.
It's
on chapter like 11.
Interesting. And I love the way it's written in the first person. I just think that's pretty cool and terrific. Only thing is, I have to wear 2 hats today, and I have...
3 hats. Anyway, never mind.
All right, I have to wear a multitude of hats today. I should be known as 3 Hats Anton or something. This evening, I have to go and do the monthly meeting for the public access television thing. So I'll be starting our thing late tonight. So
8:30.
We'll go for 8:30 because I'm pretty darn sure I'll be back by then. I'll get it all set up, but I have to take my computer with me. So Lisa can't start without me. So you'll just have to, if we're not back by 8:30, just wait there patiently, talk amongst yourselves, and we'll get there.
All right.
That's assuming you give us the super chats. You fine and wonderful people. So welcome. This is our, 128th episode, which means that we've been doing this for 2 years and 6 months now, something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, during the
Magical
pandemic,
Mondays.
we did 11sies every day, Monday through Friday, but we can't do that kind of schedule now.
Oh, and Laurie's with us as well. And Heather.
Hello,
Heather. Hello, Laurie. So there you go. Guys, welcome one and all. Isn't it marvellous? Tell your friends. Yes, it was a great ritual, and that's a wonderful thing, I have to say. I really enjoyed that.
I'm enjoying the Academy, yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys aren't members of the Academy, you really should think about joining, because we have these amazing things for our Academy of the Occult Things. My dear Lisa can sum them up much better than me, because I'm a man of very little brain, as well you know.
Right.
So what we got? What do you get for the Academy?
Well, you get all kinds of things. You get the 2 new moon, full moon Sabbats, so you get rituals, 2 or 3 a month.
Very nice.
You get the workshop about the moon in your natal chart, and then it'll change to something else eventually.
Yes.
You get a magical meditation, which we owe you guys one.
Oh, yes, yeah. Well, when I get myself cloned.
And you get $5 a month back in karma points. So.
And there's more. There's also story time with Anton.
Well, you owe them one of them, too.
Well, yeah, I know. I'll just make something up. I'll tell a story.
I love that we didn't get dressed at the same time together and we both wore green. I think that's funny.
I think mine's a more sort of manly man shade of green, don't you think? I think it is.
Mine is more of a womanly woman shade of green.
But
is
of
that
course.
What you're saying?
Yes, indeed.
Venusian, as they say. Oh, my goodness.
So we're all in green.
What's
Oh,
that
my
about?
goodness. Well, it's Jen would like a card for health from Gilda. So there you go. Thank you, Gilda. We'll do that.
All right, put her on the end there because I have to add Heather, Lori, Lizette.
Oh, we got Lizette now. Hello, Lizette. And
all right,
did we say hello to Savannah? Savannah, thank you so much for the super chat.
Okay.
And thank you so much for the super chat, Gilda. So we're already 3 down out of our goal of 10, and now you're making the lights flash. Isn't that fun? We should have, like, pyrotechnics, I think is good. You guys match more often than not.
We used to have matching tie-dyes. We got married in matching tie-dyes. And we used to wear matching tie-dyes all the time, which was fun. But, we're kind of past that stage now. Anyway. All right. In the astrology news.
Oh,
Holy
no.
Hectorine.
Run away. It's probably best to get back in your blanket for.
This is going to be a lot of vocabulary. Oh, yeah.
Have you seen this? Look at this. That's all I'm saying.
Not disruptive at all. There's going to be a lot of vocabulary, and I'll try to explain as we go. But I think the most important thing that we have is the Capricorn full moon this week on the 10th. at 18 degrees, which is a 9, a magic number. So you have that Hermit and Moon connection there. At 18 degrees Capricorn. And Capricorn new moon, Capricorn full moon, those are the best times to manifest money, career, roots, and like get a handle on things. So this is a really, really good
most auspicious full moon, indeed. Do not waste it.
But as you know, when we look at astrology and we ask somebody what their sun sign is, that's only one part of what's going on in their Polaroid, in their birth chart, right? They have their sun sign, their moon sign, their rising sign. Mercury might be how they express themselves. Venus, what they value. Mars, what they feel strongly about. Jupiter, what they're trying to grow, or how they would grow. So when we look at a chart for any particular event, such as the full moon, we want to also take into consideration what's going on in the rest of the chart, right? Just like we would not just give information about a sun sign. So this is a pretty seminal, I guess. I like that word. This is a very pivotal time
there you go.
in world history.
Oh.
Right? In world history. Now, over the next decade, the United States solar returns, first week in July, right? Because there is an instant, which is called a perfection, but there's a lead up, the hit, and a lead out, right? So during the United States solar returns, birthdays,
years,
for the next decade or so, till around 2033.
Many happy returns.
They are all going to be this kind of, it could be amazingly wonderful, or it could be absolute poop. So
no middle ground then.
There really isn't. There really isn't.
Feast or famine.
There is that
a boon or a wound.
Call of opposition. Yeah. All right. So let's first start with this week. Well,
hello, Rhonda. Thank you for joining us.
Well, I put her on the list.
Okay.
Saturn and Neptune are going to come together at 1 degree Aries in the beginning of next year, and that's the perfection. However, right now they're only 1/4 of a degree apart. So they're pretty much acting as one, right?
At this point.
Like we see them coming together. Maybe there's a hint of Neptune sticking out from behind Saturn, but a damn little crescent hint, okay? And that is on the 9th. So it will still be valid during the full moon on the 10th. So they're both in Aries. And they're doing something called a sextile to Pluto. So sextiles are kind of positive, like a trine, but maybe not as intense as a trine. But we have Saturn, everything is real. Neptune, nothing is real. Making this aspect to Pluto that wants to tear it down and rebuild it.
It's all got to come out, mate.
Okay. And also at this same time, Uranus today moved into Gemini for the first time in 84 years. And that is the last of the outer planets to move into fire and air. So if you thought the last 6 months or so went quickly, buckle up if you can find a seatbelt, because it may not be real, for the next 6 months. And this Capricorn full moon becomes a marker of this time and says, okay, you really need to get a handle on what's real and what you want to make real. Whatever you believe in now, meaning whatever you want to manifest, whatever you believe is true, whatever you draw to you, and bring it into reality, that Saturn-Neptune energy is going to be with you for a time frame. This is a marker. And Uranus in Gemini fuels, as it sextiles as well, right? They're making this kind of, it's not a full big trine, it's like a smaller trine.
A semi-trine,
right?
Isn't it?
Well, it's a sextile, yeah. Yeah, right, a half trine, I guess, whatever you want to call it. So Uranus in Gemini is copious amounts of information coming into that radar, right? The glyph for Uranus looks like a radar. Copious amounts of information transmitted through like a power to the people or empowerment to you. Here's this information. How are you going to use it, right? So this is happening personally, community-wise, globally. Again, here's all this information. How are you going to filter it? How are you going to use it? How are you going to apply it? And what are you going to bring into your reality, right? This is an incredible time for discernment. But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. I just want to mention, Logan, I'm not going there. Calm yourself, right? Shana, how you perceive things is your reality, generally speaking. And some people, bless them, seem to think everything's just fine. I guess denial works for them.
Well, on the flip side of that, this is the time to make a statement like, I accept whatever it is you're trying to manifest. Tell the universe, I accept the prosperity that I've been manifesting. I am open and ready to receive. I accept. And you can also say, I do not accept, right? Like if your mind wanders and you think, oh, well, I'm going to be poverty stricken. I do not accept poverty, right? I do not accept poverty. I do not accept that outcome. Okay, I do not accept that outcome. I accept what is best for me, and I know that this and this and this is what would make me happy or healthy or spiritually aware, whatever it is.
Think about that word hope, having only positive expectations.
Now,
there's more.
We know that Jupiter is in Cancer, and it's very close to the Sun. It's in the same sign as the Sun, but it has come out of its conjunction with the Sun. But we felt that around the solstice. Remember, everybody said we felt the expansion of the solstice. So it really is a time to pay attention. The light is being shown still on Jupiter. And Jupiter is also making a semi-sextile to Venus. So not a sextile, but now a tighter degree, a semi-sextile. There's no sign in between them. They are 30 degrees apart.
Ooh, that's getting pretty tight.
And Jupiter wants to expand, and Venus wants to indulge, right? So this semi-sextile, again, is like a trine, but, a sextile diminishes the trine, semi-sextile diminishes a little more. But what this could do, this Jupiter-Venus in this mix of Uranus and Jupiter in Gemini, Pluto in Aquarius, Saturn, Neptune in Aries, and now we have Jupiter in this mix. We might be overwhelmed by the amount of information. We might be overwhelmed by the amount of decisions we have to make. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is limit the kind of information that you receive, right? Make a list. I'm very serious now. make a list of what is important to you, right? I am working on X, I am working on Y, I am working on Z. Make a list of what is important to you. And then allow the information that will help you with those projects, determinations, and decisions. But don't do the doom scrolling, right? No. Like, how many times have you wanted to go look something up? You want to Google something.
And you get stuck on FaceSuck. Exactly.
Right? You want to Google something. Oh, I need to know blah, blah, blah. And you get on there and, message. And you get all torn off track by either political stuff or somebody else asking you a question or somebody's posting something crazy or whatever. And you lose half an hour.
At least.
This is going to intensify the next couple of weeks. So it's really important that you be a filter, because if you don't filter, you're going to be overwhelmed very, very quickly, right? So basically what the stars are saying is pay close attention. Accept only what you want in your reality. What do you want your reality to be? Make good, positive decisions about the things you don't want to accept. How can you avoid that? Is that really the truth? How can you change whatever that is into something that works for you? Right? What could you let go of to create a space for what you want to make real? Right? And what is going on in your life that is part of your reality that maybe doesn't work for you anymore? And now is the time to root, to ground the things that are best for you. Also, when we see this Jupiter, Cancer, Sun in Cancer, it's saying, look, now is the time to get up off your butt and work for this, right? In the past 6 months, things have gone by very quickly. You may have made lists about things. You may have ideas about things. You might have thought about investing some time or effort and energy into something. You might have thought about investing money into something. You might have thought about starting a new job or relationship or whatever it is. Okay, now is the time to take a step, right?
Get that round to it.
Take that vision of Neptune and bring it into a reality. Action, Aries, Saturn. Be mindful of what you're releasing to build something new and how that will maybe affect your social life or worldview. And listen to what's important and filter out what is nonsense to you. I'm not saying not to be aware of anything outside of yourself. It's important that you do stay aware. But don't let yourself be overwhelmed by mind-numbing amount of facts that aren't really relevant. All right.
Yeah, I mean, there is an element of like, let's flood the zone with enough crap so that nobody can work out what's actually true anymore. So, spend time doing something that's actually productive. I really needed to sit myself down like last night or the night before or whatever and have a serious word with myself and say, listen, what I need is some victories. I need some victories, because they always make me feel better when I've accomplished something. It's nothing more for me, if I feel like I'm just spinning wheels or getting no traction, it can be very disheartening, and that's not good for a person's whatever, inner constitution, I guess. So I was able to go back, and we're in the run-up to a Mercury retrograde. It's a
good time to finish up old things.
It's a great time to go back and revisit things you didn't get around to in the first place.
And it's Virgo, so that's attention to detail.
And minutiae.
And health.
So I got my head into programming as well. Well, we definitely got our heads into health, but I got my head into programming, and I managed to crack something last night, and I'm well happy. So expect in the not too distant future to find our website completely redone. We're working on it. My issue was like, how do we populate it? Because our stock changes so frequently. We've got things in and out. We don't want to just have like a static catalogue. So our old website at least is maintained by our database to let you know what's in stock, and our stock levels are accurate, and anything changes price, it changes price automatically. Changing to the new platform, which is what we desperately need to do because the old platform doesn't work very well and frustrates a lot of people. I needed to have a complete rethink of the way that we were doing it. And so, yeah, I've actually getting somewhere with it, and it's feeling good. It's frustrating, but you've got to make a lot of mistakes to get it right. So, and thank you for loving my shirt. I love my shirt too.
Okay.
Circles. Continue. And super chats, folks. We've only got 3, and we need 10. Can you do it,
All
please?
Right. Another really important day to be mindful of is the 11th, because the moon will leave Capricorn and move into Aquarius. And when it does, it's going to conjunct Pluto, and that's going to make for chaotic emotions. If you think you're going around in circles now, on the 11th, you're really going to be pushed into action because you now have the moon and Pluto making that trine to Uranus and Venus and making that sextile to Saturn and Neptune. So on the 11th, be sure not to say something you don't want. Right?
Quite.
Like speak something into being that is negative.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
Or say something to someone that you can't take back. All right. Today also marks, again, that day that Uranus pulls its way out of the fixed Earth sign of Taurus and moves into the mutable air sign of Gemini, making for intense weather events. I don't know if anybody did notice, there was a little something going on in Texas.
Intense weather events.
Also, this morning at 9:45, when I checked the Earthquake Center, usearthquake.gov or whatever it is,
USGS,
we had 32 earthquakes so far today, and 21 of them were over 4 on the Richter scale. Biggest one, I think, was Japan or Pacific. Okay.
Pacific Rim's usually very active, isn't it?
So over this next bit of time that Uranus is going to be in Gemini, which is until 2033, and it's in Gemini. It's going to retrograde back, I think, in September, and then it goes forward again. And just be mindful, a lot of these trigger dates for the United States are near their solar return.
Let's hope it's a happy return.
Anyway, we're going to see more earthquake swarms. We're going to see more volcanic action. We're going to see possible tectonic plate shift. I was reading up on the big super
caldera in part of Italy. Is that what
near
you mean?
Naples.
The Bay of Naples.
Can't be. I was trying to get the
Bay
name.
of Naples is largely
something.
a volcanic caldera. Is a super volcano underneath.
Super volcano. I was looking at that, and I had said last week that the ground had shifted 3 meters, which is
10 foot. That's quite a bit.
3 feet. I don't know. Anyway.
Whatever.
Anyway, the scientists think that if that goes, the tectonic plate could actually shift by 6 feet.
Oh.
That will be noticeable for sea level, especially in coastal places.
I should cocoa.
The subduction, right?
Yeah, where it sucks to the land underneath, doesn't it? Yeah.
So basically, what we've got going on is it real or is it not real? Here comes this information. Is it real or is it not real? And how will the people decide, right? So overall, it's a time of deep discernment. This will play out over this next 6 months till we get towards February, when that 1st degree perfection happens in Aries. So now is the time to establish your reality, right? Again, like I said last week, where do you see yourself in a year? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? You've got to build that root structure now, or it's just going to continue to be chaotic. There are other things going on with Uranus that I almost should make a podcast about by itself.
The Uranus podcast.
Yeah.
It's careful how you pronounce that one.
Because I think it was Thomas Paine who said the U.S. could start a new world order if they wanted to. And, we need
good or bad?
Well, the problem is the U.S. has Mars-Uranus karma.
We could be an incredible force for good, you know. We should be.
And when the Uranus retrograde starts back into Taurus, it's going to start an eclipse season. So September is going to be pretty wild. You want a Uranus podcast? All right,
Let's talk about Uranus.
I got a lot of information about Uranus. The whole half a page is about that. But I think I've spent enough time. So the basic message is: figure out what you want to put down roots for that Capricorn full moon. It's a great time for prosperity, career, or how you're going to live. You've got a lot of really good things coming in. There's all kinds of information. There's positive aspects. For a long time we'd been looking at squares and oppositions and all that kind of stuff. But now we have trines, sextiles, semi-sextiles. It's all, positive, but could be very overwhelming if you don't put your filter on. Right? And mind your manifesting. Right?
Mind your focus.
Mind your manifesting.
What you focus on comes into focus. What are you focused upon? Let me ask you that.
Right? Instead of saying bad things, say good things.
Say only good things. Have only positive expectations.
Or if you do think something bad, say, I do not accept that outcome.
No. Okay. So one of the things I think with discernment, and it's quite easy. One of the things with discernment. Hello, Sue. How you doing? One of the things with discernment is to ask yourself, is this, are they, this circumstance, this thought, this statement, etc., this action, is it coming from a place of love? Because if it's not real. Thank you, Laurie, for the super chat. We have 6 to go, peeps, 6 to go. Because just simply ask yourself that, is this coming from a place of love? Because if it's a place of division or hatred or greed or malice or anger or frustration or fear, none of these things lead to a good outcome. None of them do, Remember that horrible emperor. Oh, look, use your anger, feel your anger.
Thank you, Sue, and I put you on the list. I was thinking about that scene the other day because some people have been behaving like very serious assholes to us. And
yes, they have.
And we do not accept their poo. But the other day, they crossed a line, and I could feel myself, and I
getting angry.
Oh, really mad, and I have to be very careful because I living the life of a witch, right? So that scene where join me, and he hacks his hand off or whatever, and he says, I will never join you. That scene came in my head because I thought, okay, enough
already.
You are going to get back. And then I thought, no, gotta be good, because I really don't want to see the result of my actions be harm or death to these tiny holes.
When Lisa is angry, it's terrifying. Yes, kind of.
Who said that?
It's Helena. Yeah, her eyes turn purple, and that's
the outside
run away.
Of my eyes
run away.
But it takes an awful lot to get me that mad. But I'm close to losing my
proverbial.
So I have to be really mindful about that, and I'm sure that part of my test of discernment is going to be a ton of information coming in regarding this kind of thing. And I just need to not go there.
It's difficult. It is difficult because, this is one of the things that anger is almost like when I think about it, I mean, the whole time I was in the army, I truly struggled with my physical fitness, and I learned to use like anger as a tool to get me through something. Because
aggression would bring you that adrenaline and push.
Because your aggression will give you, even if it hurts, you'll push through it. But long term, this will bucky you up,
You get issues in your tissues.
It'll make you an inherently negative and horrible person. And really, when you think about it, I mean, somebody who's obsessed with where is it? I don't know. One day, justice will be done. You're holding on to the hot rock, and it's you that's getting burned. Yeah. It is. It's your.
I'm glad you picked the black tourmaline that absorbs negativity.
Sorry, I had to be demonstrative here. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for flashing the lights, people. We're 6 out of 10. 4 more super chats to go. You guys can do it. So yeah, just ask yourself: Am I coming at this from a place of love? Because love is the strongest force in the universe. That's why the strength card shows that character. The lion is putty in her hands, and fuzz me under the chin. You can do that all if you want to me as well. I've been fuzzed under my chin too.
Yes, I know. And stroked on your back. Yes,
it's true. It's true.
Aww.
It's true. I'll stop purring.
Okay. I'm going to go with Gilda.
We're starting.
Yeah, we
are. I will
we
say
only got a
thank you
half
for all
hour.
the
We got
super
lots of
chats.
beeps here.
Yes.
Gilda, justice will be served.
Oh my goodness, there we go.
Whatever legal matter it is that you're waiting for an answer or result about, there may be a couple more questions. Be mindful how you answer them, but justice will be served. You are going to get peace of mind where this is concerned. All right, you're up for Logan.
Logan. Calm the F down. Be still and listen to your intuition, okay? I think sometimes you're too busy. I want to say internally, and it's almost like your head sometimes becomes like the crazy crowded bar where everything is louder than everything else, and everybody's yelling to try and order 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps, please. And everything louder than everything else doesn't work. This card says that you are a very intuitive individual, okay? You've got good intuition, but you invariably second guess yourself simply because you're listening to too much chatter, static, if you will, radio static.
Focus on one subject at a time.
It's like you've not tuned your bloody radio in, and you've got all sorts of signals coming from all over the place. So calm down, get your squelch adjusted right, get it fine-tuned in, and listen carefully to the message. It will serve you well, okay? This is entirely within your remit. You can do this. You can fix it, all right?
Thank you, Lizette.
You just got to calm the F down and be still. That's your key. Learn to be still, all right? There you go.
All right.
Oh, thank you, Lizette. Okay,
Susan.
3 more to go, peeps. You're doing great. We're loving it.
Susan.
Yes.
I think this card is talking about standing up for yourself and looking for the best way to express feelings, right? Sometimes we come to a certain decision and we're not exactly sure how to put it out there. But this is like taking a stand and expressing yourself clearly and not reneging about that decision, right? Don't be talked out of that decision. So basically the choice is yours. Stand up for yourself and execute that decision. Yoff.
Yoff. Oh. Sometimes things look pretty bleak, all right? And I know sometimes things do not go as we originally planned it. Yet there is a message of hope here, all right? There is a message of hope, but you've got to look a little closer. The first thing is, on the Ten of Swords, this dude's fingers, they're in that same benediction as you'll see on the Hierophant card, all right? There's the promise of a new day rising in the back there, okay? So sometimes it's okay to just let bygones be bygones and know when is appropriate to, even if it's something you've invested a bunch of time in, you know, there is a point where you get diminishing returns, I want to say, where any more effort you're going to put into something just because you're invested in it isn't going to pay off for your highest good. And knowing when to lay it to rest, so to speak, and when to go, you know, okay, tomorrow's another day. We'll chalk that one down to experience, even though it may mean letting go of something that you had aspirations of, you know, this is going to be cool, this is going to be great, you know. It doesn't mean you've failed. That's the important thing to realise. It doesn't mean you've failed to let something go. It is probably one of the hardest things to do, especially if you have to say no to somebody else as well. This is one of the things that it's always really hard to do, because I know you're a very warm and compassionate individual, and you would always give somebody the benefit of the doubt. But like learning when to say, no, we're done now. It's difficult sometimes, but I sense you know what I'm talking about here, so I don't need to do this to the nth degree. Good luck, mate. Hello, Rose Blue. Hello,
yeah,
how are you?
What I'll say to you, Rose Blue, is we worry about a lot of things that are happening globally or countrywide, and we feel how that's going to affect us. But when shit really hits the fan, community is most important. So it's okay to be aware, but don't get drawn so far away from community by these worries of things that are bigger than community. And have yourself, a small group of really good people that you can depend on and experience world events with. Mm-hmm. And that will help. All right.
And blowing our own trumpet for a little while.
Oh God.
You'd do worse than find a useful, a supportive community than us. You know, why don't you spend some time here? You know, just come along and maybe become a channel member. You know, and tune into our stuff. Go back and look at our other podcasts and things like that. And if you're not a million miles away from the store, just come on by and dump some negative energy into the salt and just suck up some of the good energy.
If that is the case, Rose Blue, then it's even more important to have people to depend on. All right, Savannah. I talked to my son last night about his taroscope. I'm so excited to watch his year unfold. He was very excited too. So much good stuff to look forward to. I'm so glad we got that for his birthday. Yeah,
Subtle plug. Lisa will do you your taroscope for an entire year with all of the interesting stuff. Well, North Texas is, I hope you're faring okay. I know it's been challenging down there.
You could still be part of our online community.
Absolutely.
And get some support that way. But
contemplate joining the Academy of the Occult even.
All right, Savannah.
Yes.
Lots of good news. All right, so you're one of those people that is especially going to get tons of things coming in this next week or so. I do believe you can ride this horse to victory. Again, just have a think about what's real and what's not, what you'll accept and what you won't, where you'll draw a line. And, again, don't accept a reality that's not your reality. And I'm not saying that you have to be somewhere out in La La Land in denial. Sometimes there are real things happening. But how they affect us or how we work our way through them is the important part. So I think you're going to have a really, really good outcome. Just filter the information. Peggy.
Peggy! Hello, Peggy. Oh, hey, this doesn't suck. It's another 10, but this is the 10 of Cups, which is, this is, if you will, I don't know, I guess my trite way of explaining this card is it's like God's promise of a happy whatever existence, you know. Everything is copaesthetic here. You've got the house on the hill, the river running past, you've got the cohesive family unit, and we've got much cause to celebrate, you know. But you don't get rainbows without rain, you know. So recognize that rain is necessary. I know you can get too much of it, and it can be terribly destructive, which is what's happened and is happening now. But equally, without enough of it, it's terribly destructive, you know. You can't survive in a desert, so to speak. So it's all about everything in balance. And if you never know, oh gosh, we have a wonderful thing on a set of musical notes in our great room, which is good. And it says, those who think happiness only occurs in the sunshine have never danced naked in the rain. I think it is something like that, which is kind of nuts, you know. Or danced in the rain. I don't know whether you have to be naked. That would scare some people.
I don't think the word naked's on the wall.
I don't know why I came up with that.
King of wishful thinking.
Oh, no. There are some things you can't unsee. Believe me, you don't want to see me dancing naked in the rain. Hello, Laura of the North. Welcome. So just remember, everything in balance is what makes everything okay. Having enough of everything. And so recognize that and, you know, work to bring balance if you don't have enough balance, you know. I think that's important.
All right.
And see the good in
Gotta
things.
go a little
Yeah, we
quicker.
can go a little quicker. We just need 3 more super chats, finding wonderful people. Please make it so.
Taylor. Ooh. I think this is some sort of business partnership.
Oh.
I know that this card of union could very well be a relationship, but I think this is a business partnership. I think this is about embracing something very creative and making a real commitment to yourself and to whoever else this is about moving forward in this vein. So I feel like it's some sort of thing that will lead to an income, and I think it's a partnership that you could trust. Sean. Oh, another copaesthetic card. This is about getting all of the energies cohesive, mate. I know there's a lot of fractured stuff flying around all over the place at the moment. The zone, as we said, is flooded with a massive amount of misinformation. Use your powers of critical thinking and bring together your energies, make them cohesive, make them all point in the right direction, and there you go. Things come together. This is a house on a hill with a river. It's not a house on a hill. It's a bloody palace, you know. Even though your rover chariot is not as nice as our rover chariot, I will say you still have the opportunity for a palace on a hill here. So just harness those energies, push them in the right direction, and expect pretty impressive results. Yes, I've put Kyle on the list. And yes, I believe that there is like an oversoul or group mind of information for the people who are here or for people who tune in later. And we also have to understand, though, that as above, so below. So everything that's going on in the stars, right, in the astrology, is affecting us all in its own way based on our natal chart. But we're still all having those configurations. We're still all going to feel that shift of energy or that trine of energy or that push of energy. But yes, I love to think about what's being said as well, because it definitely affects me and my life too. All right, I'm up for Jess. Oh, I see her card hiding here.
I see Jess has sent us a super chat too. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. All right, Jess. This is a really good card. It's just one of those things that takes a little time, right? So he is really looking forward to prosperity, and he's standing in this beautiful golden light, or she, you can't really tell. But this steed, this horse, is very heavy, and it takes a little time to get it moving. but it is the horse of endurance, right? A very skinny horse might not be able to travel the long distance, right? This guy's not a sprinter. He's not just going to do a quick little race and be done. This guy is one who endures. So I love the vegetation on his hat too for you, because that's all about herbs and, that kind of thing. I do feel that these next 6 months are a period of real growth, but I also think that there's going to be some terrain to navigate that might not be familiar, but you can fall back on what you already know to figure out how to take the steps. All right, you're up for Cass. We're in upstate New York.
We are, well, mid-Hudson Valley. Judgment. Interesting card, this one. I just love it, exponents of this particular form of religion, love keep bashing this book and citing all of the wonderful things in the Bible and saying, the book says this, the book says that, the book says the other. I would say this book you keep quoting, I do not think it means what you think it means, ha, he said, paraphrasing The Princess Bride. So we've got a lot going on here. We've got the 7 toots of the chakras coming Donna. Out there. Oh, thank you, Donna. Thank you, and welcome. Resurrection is what's pitching on there. And we think about that. This is all to do with the sun, and when the sun hits the wall, which has just hit the wall actually at the other end, at the summer solstice. Now it's going to go back down the ecliptic, and the sun is going to wane.
And what's Cass's reading?
This is about resurrection, standing back on your feet again, and really, getting back up with it. Sometimes things knock the wind out of our sails a little bit, and but this is opportunity. This is like tune yourself in, take a new breath, leap at it with another day, because you have the ability to move mountains here, if only you believe you can. And I think that is the key. All right.
Well, if only you believe you can.
If only you believe you can, there is no stopping you. Gosh, thank you. Right, so 8:30 tonight. It'll be later. So we're doing 8:30. Thank you. We have hit our goal. You are wonderful peeps.
Oh, awesome. All right. Helena. Doo-doot. Now, sometimes this card can talk about an actual physical move, where you change residence. But I'm thinking this really has to do with finding peace and calm, right? Like moving out of this chaotic energy to a bigger place of calm. Sometimes when we feel really pinned in and there's stuff coming at us from all directions, we find no peace, no calm. But I think this is saying, allow yourself to expand your mind, allow yourself to be a little more open, and you'll find a place of calm.
What if the ship was your imagination?
You're up for Heather.
All right, Heather, let's have a look what we got. Oh, hey, King of Solomon card for you. Again, this is a card which is asking you to use your discernment. And sometimes it is necessary to draw a line in the sand and say, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable. And if we cross this line, understand I'm not going to accept it, and be totally clear about that. It doesn't make you a hard person. It doesn't make you a less than caring person. It doesn't make you, a mean and nasty person. But it is holding on to your boundaries, I think, that is important here. And basically saying, yeah, that's okay, this is not okay. And not accepting something which is not okay. But you will be required to use your discernment to work out what is true and what is not true. So judgment card again, discernment card again, the oversoul message that keeps flowing through, matching the astrology, again, continues to apply. So.
All right. Lori, our Lori.
Our Lori, not Laura of the North, just to confuse people.
Ooh.
Massages.
There is some sort of big spiritual growth here, Lori. I think that crystal that you got was really meant for you. You know how things, they say everything happens for a reason, and that there are synchronicities, not necessarily coincidences. And, you know, there's this history of things being delivered, and I know you know what I mean. So I think that that crystal can be held, and that little button can be pushed, and I think information will come in big ways to help you figure things out, and may help you with some long-term projects that you've been working on. You're up for Lisette.
Well, this one's sticking out for you, Lisette. Oh, hey.
Oh.
What you focus on, kid. That's important again. I know you're a very upbeat and extremely positive person, and you always try to see the good in a situation, but sometimes I think you do the little swan thing, you know.
A swan thing?
The swan thing. On the surface, you know, it appears you're serenely gliding along, but look underneath, the legs are giving it hell for leather, you know. And people don't get to see necessarily what's really going on inside, you know, what's like maybe bothering you a little bit, because you're very good at putting on that mask, for want of a better way. But it's okay to acknowledge that you do have feelings, and that you too can be pulled towards things that don't serve you, and you may be focusing on the negative. Because if you don't recognize that you have the propensity or potential, if not propensity, to do that, it's almost like you're in denial and can't recognize it when you're doing it, if you know what I mean. Because you can't fix a problem until you accept you have a problem. So just for you particularly, especially with all the flooded zone of misinformation that's flying around, and the tempers and the frustration and the angst that is generally going around, ask yourself closely, truthfully, honestly, where is my focus right now? What am I focused on? Do I need to adjust my focus? Because what you focus on comes into focus, and by changing your focus, you change the whole situation, because that's really what you start to project out into the world, and that's what's mirrored back to you. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. She's laughing and smiling. Why?
Well, because Lori's holding the very crystal I'm talking about.
Well, isn't that fun?
There's something with the... listen, when I hadn't seen Rick from Crystal Visions in a very, very long time. I mean, I used to buy from him in the 80s. And out of the blue, he calls me, and he's going to be 80, and he wants to download some of his stuff, you know, get rid of some of his stuff. And I knew it was going to be beautiful, new old stock, if you know what I mean. Right, like things that had probably just sat and had flat in his basement for God knows how many years.
20, 30 years.
And there were two really beautiful pieces of black tourmaline, and they're in the little video that I did. And I almost kept that piece. And I said, no, this is for somebody else. And I held it, and I pushed that little button, and I thought, this is definitely for somebody else, you know. And then I didn't influence Lori. I let her choose. And it's in the right place. And I think that it is going to help you, Lori, get back in the psychic swing of things.
Get back into the swim.
And hear the messages. And I know that you know what I mean. All right.
Well, hello, Bill Hunter. Welcome to our channel. Please contemplate subscribing so you can see
transmute. Hello, beautiful souls. Yes, they do.
They do.
Alchemize and transmute. All right. I'm going to now pull a card for Jen, who's Gilda's friend.
And it's a health question. I don't know if you...
It's a health... I didn't see that part.
I did.
Okay.
So I will respectfully remind you.
You know, this is the same old thing. Worrying only draws to you exactly what you do not want.
Yes.
So, Jen, it's time to say, I do not accept. Get a second opinion. Figure out what you can do holistically. But more than anything else, mindset is going to be your friend. So focus on something that is a much better option than the one you've been given right now. All right. You're up for Sue, and we have to go a little quicker.
We're doing all right. Yeah, I know. Sue, joggle, joggle, joggle. Sometimes You know, it's difficult to get ahead when you're playing catch up all the time and effectively almost robbing Peter to pay Paul, but then you rob Paul to pay Peter kind of thing. And so it continues. You are maintaining the status quo, which is good. And you're also doing it with a great deal of competency, you know. You've got one foot in the air, you're juggling away here, and you go, hey, look, guys, I'm doing all right here. You know, got that big showy hat. But let me just tell you, you'd spend an awful lot less time fighting fires if you spent a little more on fire prevention. I think this is just now would do you well to sit down and make some prioritization, as Lisa was saying at the start of this. Really focus on what it is you need to focus on, if that makes sense.
Or think about a second income to pay those bills you want to pay.
Well, yeah. Once you know what you're dealing with, then you can work out a solution to what you need to solve. But it'll all come together, and it'll be like, oh yeah, thank you, Captain Obvious kind of thing. But it's when we're up to our ass in alligators, it's hard to remember our objective was to drain the swamp. So sometimes stepping...
Well, that's such a political statement.
It's not political.
It is now.
It's not meant to be. Okay? It's like sometimes you get too close to a situation, you're too embroiled in the minutiae of it to actually see the whole situation. Yeah. So a little bit of planning, a little bit of set yourself back for a second. Time spent in planning is not time wasted, you know? There you go. Do it.
Laura of the North. We have to go quickly. Laura of the North.
Stow me and break my mother's heart already. I just can't keep up here.
Ooh, prosperity, so mote it be.
That'll do.
I feel like you are going to meet the right people, that you're going to be in the right place at the right time, that you're going to make a very good impression, and you're going to step over a couple of hurdles that are going to bring you into a good, solid place of prosperity. Okay. You're up for Kyle.
Kyle! Getting good grades. You know what I say? Doing all right, getting good grades. My future's that bright, I've got to wear shades. This is a really, really positive card for you. I'm going to go with my intuitive read on this rather than wittering on for about 1,000 years on it. The wall's behind you. You've experienced problems in the past. Do not turn your horse back and try to re-engage that wall again. Do you know what I mean? Move away. Keep your face to the sunshine. The shadows will be behind you, okay? Accept only positive stuff. Have only positive expectations. And believe in yourself. And sure as day follows night, you will succeed. This is a bloody great card.
Mm-hmm. All right. I have Donna. Donna. Ooh. I get the feeling that this is like a final passage of something. Sometimes things happen and they really affect us deeply. And they do affect mind, body, spirit, right? They affect how we accept spiritual things. These events affect how we process things mentally and emotionally. And that process can sometimes affect our physical body. But I feel like, this is third time's the charm, trouble comes in threes, all that kind of thing. But I feel like there's something that you processed or thought you had, that you backed back over and kind of waded in the doom a little bit. And now you're going to come back over and get past it. It's like the final passage towards gray skies clearing up. So give yourself a little bit of time. Use all the things we talked about astronomically, astrologically that are happening. And get yourself grounded in the place you want to be. All right.
Card
of the week.
I love Rose Blue's saying about song snippet divination kind of things. Not a reader, but they love it when they get things.
Lyrics all
the time. Yeah, no, it's some things just bounce into your head. Even the song just bounces into your head as well. It's kind of cool when we do that. Anyway,
card of the week.
Me? On. Yeah. That way I can deny all responsibility.
Outfox the foxes. Right? There is. Oh, my glasses have been bugging me all day.
Well,
there is a little fox right here that is the same fox that's on the clasp of the Queen of Wands, where we began. That was the first card we had.
It was, wasn't it? I think it was. Yeah.
So take time to rest, take time for self-care, and take time to outfox the foxes. Right? Outfox the foxes. And just be golden. You know, the good stuff sticks to you. The good stuff you take in. The good stuff you use to manifest what you want to manifest. Bounce the crap off. Right? Remember when we were kids? I'm like rubber, you're like glue. Bounces off me and it sticks to you.
Yeah. There's probably poo comes into that anyway. Who knows? And also, how's your rest doing? How's your meditative practice doing?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we need to just extract ourselves from the madding crowd to find a little bit of peace and tranquility. And I have to take this call. It's really important.
We said 1 o'clock.
Sorry.
I'm going to say that peace and tranquility will be there if you take the time to collect it. You know how when we're going to cross a road, we're taught stop, look, and listen? And that's kind of where we are, right? Stop, look, and listen. And then make an educated decision. Do I want to step out into the road? Do I want to cross the road altogether? You know, or do I just want to wait here for this big amount of traffic to pass so it doesn't, affect me in a bad way? So again, these next couple of weeks and these next few months are intense. For people who aren't in the academy, I put up on our church's page, the Facebook page, Church of the Eternal Circle, a link to our Capricorn new moon prosperity ritual. So it's still Capricorn energy imprinted into that prosperity ritual. Or if you don't have Facebook, you can just find it on our YouTube station. So go on YouTube, have an account on YouTube, you look for Awareness Shop, you look for the broom logo so you don't get breast cancer awareness, and then you could just search for prosperity ritual. There's a healing ritual up there. Or if you really want to start digging into esoteric stuff and learning stuff and being part of our online community, then think about joining the Academy of the Occult, because there are things there that are creating that group mind energy, and they're also very useful. There are rituals for the time that we're in, and then as Academy members, you would always be able to go back and listen again, right? So we did our full moon on YouTube last night as the moon is waxing, but you could go every night between now and the full moon, and certainly the full moon night, and build your prosperity. Maybe you have a different project you want to send energy to, so you focus on one each time you watch that video. There's also a lot of information in these past podcasts if you go to Magickal Mondays. So I hope that we can all not lose our heads and that we can all dance fast enough to deal with this wild, wild energy. I'll talk probably more next week about Uranus, because it really is a seminal time to be alive. It really is. All right. Thank you all very much. I am going to try to stop the podcast now. Wish me luck, because I am not the techno person. All right? Peace and bright blessings. Thank you all. Thanks for the super chats. See you later tonight.